The salvage ship drifted through the dark emptiness of space. Captain stood at the main window and watched the stars pass by slowly. His four eyes blinked one after another as he thought about the mission ahead. They had received a signal from an unknown vessel 3 days ago. Now they were close enough to see it. "Captain, I am picking up the ship on our sensors," said the navigator. She was a small creature with blue scales and thin fingers that moved quickly across her control panel. "It is about 2,000 units ahead of us." Walked closer to the main screen. The image showed a ship unlike anything he had seen before. It was not elegant or smooth like the vessels of the Galactic Union. This ship was blocky and rough. It looked like it was built to survive, not to impress. "Run a full scan," ordered. "I want to know everything about that ship before we get any closer." The scanning officer, a tall being named with long arms and a flat face, pressed several buttons. The computer made soft sounds as it worked. Then the results appeared on the screen, and everyone on the bridge went silent. "Captain," said slowly, his voice shaking, "the computer says this ship comes from a Class III." The words hung in the air like poison. Class III. Every child in the galaxy knew what that meant. Class III planets were the most dangerous worlds in existence. They had extreme weather, deadly creatures, and environments that could kill most species in minutes. Only monsters could survive on such worlds. "Are you certain?" asked. His voice was calm, but his hearts were beating faster. "Yes, Captain. The scan is very clear. The ship materials match known construction. The atmosphere inside is mostly nitrogen and oxygen with high pressure. The gravity setting is nearly twice our standard." Paused and looked at his captain with fear in his eyes. "Whatever lives on that ship, it is built to survive conditions that would crush us." Made a small sound of worry. "Should we leave, Captain? Creatures are dangerous. Everyone knows the stories." Thought about it. The stories were indeed terrible. Species were said to be violent and brutal. They could run for hours without stopping. They could heal from wounds that would kill other beings. Some of them even ate other creatures for food. The thought made feel sick. But the ship was drifting without power. If there were survivors inside, they might have valuable cargo. And if they were dead, well, then there was nothing to fear. "We will investigate," decided, "but carefully. Everyone will wear protective suits and carry weapons. We do not know what we will find." The crew prepared quickly. There were 5 of them in total, and 2 security officers named and Mox. They checked their equipment twice and then moved to the airlock. The connection between the 2 ships was smooth. The salvage ship attached itself to the larger vessel with magnetic clamps. When the airlock opened, a rush of warm air came through. It smelled strange, organic, alive. "Readings show the atmosphere is safe for us," reported, "but the temperature is very high, almost 30 degrees. 30 degrees. Felt uncomfortable just thinking about it. His species preferred temperatures around 15 degrees. Anything above 20 was considered dangerous." They moved through the dark corridors slowly. Their lights cut through the shadows and showed walls covered with strange markings, pictures and symbols that none of them could understand. Some showed circles and lines. Others showed shapes that might have been creatures or plants. "This ship is old," whispered, "but not damaged. It looks like the power just stopped working." They found a large room filled with equipment. Screens and panels covered the walls. In the center were several large containers made of clear material. Stepped closer and looked inside the first one. His blood went cold. Inside the container was a creature. It was lying on its back with its eyes closed. It looked almost peaceful, like it was sleeping, but its appearance was terrifying. It had 2 arms and 2 legs. Its skin was a soft brown color and dark hair covered the top of its head. Its face had 2 forward-facing eyes, a small nose, and a mouth filled with flat teeth. "What is that?" whispered, raising his weapon. Scanned the container with his device. His hands were shaking badly. "The computer says it is a human. from a planet called Earth. Earth asked, "I have never heard of it." "Neither have I," replied, "but the database classifies it as a class III." The room went completely silent. They all looked at the sleeping creature with new fear. This human, came from one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. It was an apex predator, a survivor of hellish conditions. Counted the containers. There were 12 in total, 12 humans, all sleeping in what appeared to be some kind of preservation system. They are in stasis, he realized. Their ship lost power, but these containers kept them alive. "Captain, we should leave," Mox said urgently. If they wake up, they will kill us all." Wanted to agree. Every instinct told him to run, but something made him stop. He looked at the sleeping human again. Despite the forward-facing eyes of a predator, its face looked calm, soft, even, not like a monster. "Look at them," he said quietly. "They are helpless right now. If they were truly dangerous, would they sleep so openly?" "Captain, please," begged. "The stories say humans can run down their prey over days. They can survive injuries that would kill any of us. They consume the flesh of other creatures. They are everything we fear." Knew the stories, but he also knew that stories were often exaggerated. The galaxy was full of species that had been misunderstood. He made a decision. "We will restore power to their ship. If they are truly monsters, they would have attacked us by now. Instead, they are sleeping, vulnerable. I think there is more to these humans than the stories say." Before anyone could argue, a loud alarm filled the room. Red lights began flashing. The containers started making strange sounds. "What is happening?" shouted. Looked at his scanner in horror. "We triggered something when we entered. The stasis system is shutting down. The humans are waking up." All 5 crew members raised their weapons and pointed them at the containers. Their hearts raced with terror as they watched the sleeping creatures begin to move. The first container opened with a soft hiss. A human sat up slowly. It was smaller than the others, with long dark hair and soft features. It opened its eyes and looked directly at. The alien captain felt like he was staring into the eyes of death itself. Those brown eyes, focused and aware, belonged to a creature that had evolved on a world of nightmares. And now it was awake. The human opened its mouth and spoke. The words were strange and unknown, but the tone was not aggressive. It sounded confused, maybe even scared. Realized with shock that this terrifying was just as afraid of them as they were of it. And in that moment, everything he thought he knew about humans began to change. The human woman sat in her container and looked around the room. Her eyes moved quickly, taking in everything at once. The 5 aliens, the weapons pointed at her, the dim emergency lights. She raised her hands slowly, palms facing outward. Did not understand the gesture, but it did not seem threatening. The human spoke again in her strange language. Her voice was soft and careful. "What is it saying?" demanded, his weapon shaking in his grip. "I do not know," admitted. "The translator needs time to learn the language patterns." More containers began to open. A second human emerged, this one larger with broad shoulders and short black hair. It looked around with sharp eyes and immediately moved closer to the female. It spoke to her quickly, and she responded. They seemed to be communicating about the situation. "There are more waking up," Mox said with panic in his voice. "Captain, we need to shoot them before they attack." "Hold your fire," commanded. "They have not done anything aggressive yet." A third container opened, then a fourth. Soon, 4 humans were standing together, watching the aliens with careful expressions. The large male stood slightly in front of the others, as if protecting them. The female with long hair kept her hands raised. The translator device on its belt made a small beeping sound. "Captain, I think the translator is starting to work. It is picking up basic patterns." The female human spoke again, and this time broken words came through the translator. "We, not hurt, peace, we want peace." felt some of his fear fade. The creature was trying to communicate. It was using words instead of violence. Maybe the stories about were wrong. "We understand," said slowly, hoping the translator would work both ways. "We are salvagers. We found your ship drifting without power. We did not mean to wake you." The humans looked at each other. The large male said something and the female nodded. She turned back to and spoke carefully. "Thank you for finding us. Ship broke. We sleep long time. How long?" Checked his scanner. Based on the decay of their power cells, they have been in stasis for approximately 40 cycles, almost a full galactic year. When the translator converted this information, the humans reacted with shock. The female put a hand over her mouth. The large male closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Another human, a young male with a thin face, sat down heavily on the floor. "Year," the female repeated. "1 year sleeping, our mission. We were exploring, ship system failed. We had to enter stasis to survive." Lowered his weapon slightly. These creatures did not act like monsters. They seemed like regular beings who had experienced something terrible. "What are your names?" "I am captain of the salvage vessel Quiet Shadow." The female touched her chest. "I am ship doctor." She pointed to the large male. "This is Ho, he is our engineer." She indicated the young male sitting on the floor. He handles communication." Finally, she gestured to the fourth human, a female with short hair and calm eyes. "She is our pilot." "There are more containers," observed, still holding her weapon high. 8 more humans are still in stasis." Nodded sadly. "Yes, rest of crew, we set system to wake leaders first. Others will wake soon if power comes back." She looked at the dark corridors and the dead screens. "Can you help fix power?" Ho stepped forward and the aliens immediately tensed. He stopped and raised his hands like had done earlier. "I am engineer," he said through the translator. "I can fix ship, but need tools, need help." Studied the human male. Ho was tall and strong. His muscles were visible even through his thin clothing. This was a being built for survival on a harsh world. He could probably tear any of them apart with his bare hands. Yet he was asking for help politely. "Why should we trust you?" asked suspiciously. "Your kind comes from you are predators." Tilted her head in confusion. "I do not understand this word." "Your planet," explained. "Earth. It is classified as a Class III, one of the most dangerous environments in the galaxy. Only apex predators survive there." The 4 humans looked at each other. Then, surprisingly, began to laugh. It was a strange sound, short bursts of noise from his throat. The aliens flinched at the unexpected reaction. Sorry, said, controlling himself. "It is just funny. Earth is our home. We do not think it is dangerous. It is just normal to us." "Normal?" Mox said in disbelief. "Your planet has extreme temperature changes. It has massive predators and poisonous plants. Your atmosphere is corrosive. Your gravity would crush most species." Spoke for the first time. Her voice was quiet but clear. "Those things are true, but we are adapted. Earth made us strong. We did not choose to be this way. We just survived." There was something in her words that touched. These humans had not become what they were through cruelty. They had simply evolved to survive on a world that tried to kill them every day. The same determination that made them dangerous also made them resilient. "We will help you," decided. "We will restore power to your ship. In return, we ask only for fair trade, perhaps some of your technology or supplies." His face changed. Her lips curved upward and her eyes became warmer, realized she was expressing happiness. "Thank you, Captain. You are kind. We will share what we have." Ho and began working together on the power systems. Despite the fear, the alien engineer found himself impressed by the human's knowledge. Ho worked quickly and efficiently. His hands moved with confidence, connecting wires and adjusting panels. "Your ship design is interesting," admitted. "Very solid, built to last." "Earth ships must be strong," Ho replied. Space is dangerous. We cannot afford to fail. Meanwhile, checked on the remaining stasis containers. She looked at each sleeping human with care and concern, watched her and felt his understanding of humans shift even further. You care about them, he observed. Your crew members. Looked at him with gentle eyes. Of course, they are my family. We chose to explore space together. We take care of each other. The stories say your kind is violent, said carefully, that you fight and kill without reason. His expression became sad. Some humans are violent, yes, but most are not. We are like any species. We have good members and bad members. We can be cruel, but we can also be kind. It depends on the individual. This was a perspective had never considered. He had always thought of as uniformly dangerous, but was showing him that even predators could have compassion. The lights in the room suddenly flickered on. Emergency power hummed through the ship. Screens began to glow with information. Power is restored, Ho announced with satisfaction. Basic systems are online. The rest of the crew will wake within the hour. 8 more predators, muttered nervously. Heard him and smiled gently. 8 more friends, she corrected. You will see. Humans are not as scary as you think. Hoped she was right. His crew was still terrified, still ready to run at the first sign of danger, but he was beginning to see these in a new light. They were strong, yes. They were built for survival, but they were also capable of gratitude, cooperation, and kindness. Perhaps the galaxy had been wrong about humans all along. Perhaps these apex predators were not the monsters everyone feared. Only time would tell, but was willing to give them a chance. As the ship came back to life around them, humans and aliens stood together in an uneasy peace. Neither group fully trusted the other, but both were willing to try. And in the vast emptiness of space, that small willingness was the beginning of something remarkable. The remaining 8 humans woke over the next 2 hours. Each time a container opened, the alien crew tensed with fear. But each time, the human inside simply looked confused and tired, not aggressive. Introduced everyone. There was one, the ship's captain, a middle-aged man with gray in his hair and calm authority in his voice. There was Bin, a young woman who handled navigation. There was Wu, a scientist with curious eyes who immediately began asking questions about everything. The others were Mi, Sang-hoon, Min, and Bora, 12 humans in total, all standing in the now-lit main room of their vessel. Captain 1 listened as explained the situation. He nodded slowly, then turned to face. Captain, I thank you for helping my crew. We owe you our lives. Without your arrival, we would have drifted until our stasis systems failed. Felt strange being thanked by an apex predator. We were happy to help. Your ship appeared to be in distress. Still, one said firmly, you took a risk. You could have ignored us. Instead, you boarded an unknown vessel and restored our power. That shows courage and kindness. We do not forget such things. The translator had improved significantly. Conversations flowed more smoothly now, though some words still caused confusion. The 2 groups sat in the main room, with humans on one side and aliens on the other. It was not a hostile separation, just a cautious one. Tell me about your mission, requested. You said you were exploring. One nodded. Yes, we are from Earth, as you know. Our people have only recently developed faster-than-light travel. We sent several ships in different directions to explore and make contact with other species. He smiled slightly. It seems our first contact did not go as planned. Your technology is impressive, admitted. He had been fascinated by the human engineering. Your ship is crude by Galactic Union standards, but incredibly tough. It survived a year of drifting without major damage. Ho grinned at the compliment. We build things to last. Earth taught us that nothing is given easily. Everything must be earned through hard work and planning. Had been quiet, but now she spoke up nervously. Can I ask something about your planet? Nodded encouragingly. Of course, ask anything. Is it true that your world has large predators, creatures that hunt other creatures? The humans exchanged glances. Wu, the scientist, leaned forward with enthusiasm. Oh yes, many. We have creatures called lions and tigers that hunt for food. We have sharks in our oceans and bears in our forests. Some of our insects can kill with a single sting. The aliens shuddered at these descriptions. Mox gripped his weapon. But humans are the most successful predators, Wu continued. Not because we are the strongest or fastest, but because we are the most adaptable. We can survive in almost any environment. Hot deserts, frozen mountains, deep jungles. We spread across our entire planet because we never stop trying. That is terrifying, said honestly. Laughed softly. She was a quiet woman with kind eyes. I understand why you feel that way, but think of it differently. The same qualities that make us good survivors also make us good friends. We never give up on the things we care about. We protect what we love with everything we have. Found this perspective interesting. So your determination works both ways, for hunting and for protecting. Exactly, one confirmed. Humans can be dangerous enemies, but we can also be loyal allies. Once we commit to something, we follow through. It is part of our nature. The conversation continued for several hours. The aliens asked questions about Earth, and the humans answered honestly. They talked about human history, about wars and peace, about art and science. The aliens learned that humans had nearly destroyed themselves many times but had always found ways to survive and recover. You fight among yourselves, asked in confusion, even though you are the same species. Bin sighed. Unfortunately, yes, humans are not perfect. We have done terrible things to each other, but we have also done wonderful things. We have healed the sick, fed the hungry, explored the unknown. We are complicated creatures. This honesty surprised. He had expected the humans to hide their flaws, to present themselves as purely good. Instead, they admitted their weaknesses openly. There was something trustworthy about that approach. Sang-hoon, a muscular man who served as the ship's security officer, stood and stretched. The aliens flinched at his sudden movement, and he noticed immediately. I am sorry, he said gently. I did not mean to scare you. I was just stiff from sleeping so long. You are very large, Mox observed. Are all humans your size? Sang-hoon shook his head. No, we vary greatly. Some humans are small and thin. Others are tall and heavy. I exercise regularly, so I am more muscular than most. You train your body deliberately, asked. Why? Many reasons. Health, discipline, enjoyment. Some humans do it to be better at fighting. I do it because it makes me feel strong and capable. Sang-hoon sat back down carefully, trying not to alarm anyone. I promise I will not hurt any of you. We are grateful for your help. Bora, the youngest crew member, had been watching the aliens with wide, curious eyes. You are all so different from each other, she said. Different shapes, different colors. It is beautiful. Blinked in surprise. You think we are beautiful. Most species find my people unremarkable. To human eyes, everything alien is fascinating, Bora replied. We grew up on a world with only one intelligent species. Meeting others is like a dream come true. The tension in the room slowly decreased. The aliens began to relax as they realized the humans meant no harm. Conversations became more natural, and Ho discussed engineering problems, and Bin compared navigation techniques. Even the nervous security officers began to speak with their human counterparts. Found himself sitting beside one, watching the two crews interact. I must admit, you are not what I expected. One smiled. What did you expect? Monsters, savage beasts driven only by hunger and violence. That is what the stories say about. One nodded thoughtfully. Those stories might come from fear. When species are afraid of something, they create stories to explain that fear. Sometimes the stories become worse than the reality. You speak wisely for a predator, said, and then immediately regretted his words. "I apologize, that was rude." But one only laughed. "No offense taken. We are predators in a biological sense, but we have learned to be more than our instincts. We build societies based on cooperation, not just competition. We create art and music and stories. We dream of things beyond survival." Considered this. His own species was herbivorous. They had never needed to hunt. Perhaps that was why they feared predators so much. They could not understand the perspective of creatures who killed to live. "Tell me," one said, "what will you do after we repair our ship? Will you report us to your government?" The question caught off guard. He had not thought that far ahead. "I do not know. The Galactic Union tracks species carefully. If I report your presence, they may send warships." "And if you do not report us?" Met the human captain's eyes. There was no threat in them, only curiosity and hope. "If I do not report you, you could continue your exploration. Perhaps find other species who are less fearful." One nodded slowly. "We would appreciate that chance. We did not come to conquer or destroy. We came to learn and to connect. Surely that is worth something." Before could respond, an alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Everyone jumped to their feet. Red lights flashed across the newly restored systems. Wu rushed to a console and checked the readings. His face went pale. Multiple ships approaching, fast. Their signatures matched known pirate frequencies. Pirates asked urgently, "How many?" "At least 5 vessels. They must have detected our power restoration." Wu looked at the alien crew with fear. "They are coming for both of our ships." Felt his heart sink. Pirates in this region were ruthless. They would strip both vessels clean and likely kill everyone aboard. His small salvage crew had no chance against 5 warships. But beside him, something unexpected happened. Captain One's expression changed. The calm, friendly human became something else entirely. His eyes hardened. His posture shifted. Suddenly, could see the predator that had evolved on a Class III. "Then we fight," one said simply. "Everyone, battle stations. We did not survive a year of drifting to die at the hands of pirates." The humans moved with frightening speed and coordination. In that moment, understood that he had not yet seen what these were truly capable of. He was about to find out. The transformation was instant and terrifying. One moment, the humans were friendly explorers sharing stories. The next, they were warriors preparing for battle. Watched in stunned silence as the 12 moved with perfect coordination. One began issuing orders in sharp, clear commands. "Ho, get our weapons systems online. Bin, plot defensive positions. Sang-hoon, arm the crew, prepare the medical bay." Every human knew exactly what to do. There was no confusion, no panic. They had trained for this. They had evolved for this. "What do we do?" asked, her voice trembling. One turned to the aliens with a serious expression. "You have 2 choices. You can hide in a protected section of our ship, or you can help us fight. Either choice is acceptable. This is not your battle." Thought quickly. His salvage ship was small and barely armed. Against 5 pirate vessels, they would be destroyed in minutes. But the human ship, even damaged, seemed better equipped for combat. "We will stay and help," decided. "Our ship is useless in a fight. At least here we have a chance." One nodded with respect. "Good. Every person matters. Can you help Ho with the power distribution? The more energy we can route to weapons, the better." Moved immediately to assist. Despite his fear, he was excited to work with human technology under pressure. Ho welcomed him with a grim smile. "Your systems are different from ours," Ho explained as they worked, "but the principles are the same. Help me balance the load between shields and weapons." Meanwhile, Sang-hoon opened a weapons locker and began distributing arms to the crew. The human weapons were strange. They were loud and used chemical propulsion rather than energy beams, but they looked effective. "Have you ever fought before?" Sang-hoon asked Moxon. "Small conflicts," admitted, "nothing like this." Sang-hoon handed them each a weapon. These are simple to use. Point at the enemy and pull the trigger. Stay behind cover. Do not try to be heroes, just survive. The pirates arrived faster than expected. 5 ships appeared on the screens, sleek and aggressive. They surrounded the 2 vessels in a loose circle, blocking any escape routes. A communication signal came through. Wu activated the display and an alien face appeared. The pirate captain was a species known for their cruelty and greed. His face was, and his eyes gleamed with anticipation. 2 ships full of goods, the pirate said with a cruel smile. This is our lucky day. Surrender now and we might let some of you live. One stepped forward to respond. I am Captain One of the Earth vessel Endless Journey. We are explorers, not soldiers, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. The pirate laughed. Earth, I have never heard of it. Another weak species thinking they can wander through our territory. He leaned closer to the screen. You have 1 minute to power down your systems. After that, we will tear your ships apart and take what we want from the wreckage. The communication ended. Silence fell over the bridge. 1 minute, said quietly. What do we do? One looked at his crew. His eyes traveled over each human face, calm and determined. Then he smiled. We do what humans have always done. We survive. The next 60 seconds were spent in final preparations. Shields were activated. Weapons were charged. Every person took their position. Found himself standing beside in a corridor, ready to defend against boarding parties. Are you afraid? He asked her. Checked her weapon calmly. Yes, every human feels fear, but we do not let fear control us. We use it. Fear makes us sharper, faster, more focused. How do you do that? She looked at him with steady eyes. Practice. Our ancestors faced predators every day. They learned to channel fear into action. That instinct lives in all of us. The minute ended. The pirate ships attacked. Energy blasts slammed into the Endless Journey. The ship shook violently, but the shields held. On the bridge, Bin called out damage reports while maneuvered the vessel with incredible skill. Shields at 80%, Ho announced, returning fire. The human weapons were different from anything the pirates had faced. They launched physical projectiles at incredible speeds, punching through shields that were designed to block energy weapons. One pirate ship took a direct hit and began trailing smoke. Direct hit on enemy vessel 2, Wu reported. Their shields are failing. The pirates had not expected resistance. They had assumed the drifting ship would be easy prey. Now they were facing something unexpected, a crew that refused to die quietly. One coordinated the defense with military precision. Bring us around for another pass. Ho, concentrate fire on the damaged vessel. Bin, watch for flanking attacks. They are trying to board us, Du warned. Small ships launching from the main vessels. Sang-hoon, defensive teams to the airlocks, one ordered. Watched as humans moved through the corridors to intercept the boarding parties. They moved differently now. In casual conversation, they seemed relaxed and friendly. In combat, they became something else entirely. Their movements were efficient and deadly. Their eyes scanned for threats constantly. Their bodies were tense and ready. The first boarding party breached the rear airlock, heard the explosion from across the ship. Then he heard the sounds of combat, shouting, weapons fire, impacts. Minutes passed. The sounds of fighting continued. Then Sang-hoon's voice came through the communication system. Rear airlock secure. Boarders eliminated. 3 injuries, no deaths on our side. 3 injured, gasped. How can they keep fighting? Smiled grimly. Humans do not stop fighting because of injuries. We stop when we are dead or victorious. There is no middle ground. Outside, the battle continued. 2 pirate ships were now badly damaged, but the remaining 3 pressed their attack, pouring fire into the Endless Journey. Alarms blared throughout the vessel. Shields failing, Ho reported. We cannot take much more. One made a decision. All remaining weapons target the pirate command ship. If we take out their leader, the others may retreat. It was a gamble. Concentrating fire meant leaving themselves exposed, but one understood something about pirates. They followed strength. If their leader fell, their courage would collapse. The endless journey turned toward the command ship and unleashed everything it had. Projectiles and energy weapons combined in a devastating barrage. The pirate vessel's shields flickered and died. Explosions rippled across its hull. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the pirate command ship began to break apart. Escape pods launched in every direction as the crew abandoned their dying vessel. "Command ship destroyed," Wu announced. "Remaining pirate vessels are retreating." A cheer went up from the human crew. Even the injured celebrated, shouting and embracing each other. The aliens watched in amazement. These had just defeated 5 warships with a single damaged vessel. One allowed himself a moment of relief before returning to command mode. "Damage report. How bad are we?" "Shields gone," Ho replied. "Hull breaches on decks 3 and 4. Weapons systems at 30%, but we are alive." "Engines functional. We can move, just not fast." One nodded. "Then we leave this area immediately. The pirates may return with reinforcements." Approached the human captain slowly. He was still processing what he had witnessed. This crew of supposed explorers had fought like trained soldiers. They had made tactical decisions under fire that would have taken his species hours to debate. Hal asked simply, "How did you do that?" One looked tired but satisfied. "We are human. Our planet taught us to fight for survival from the moment we existed. Every human carries that instinct, whether we use it daily or not. When threatened, we become what we need to be. You were peaceful before, friendly, kind. We are still all those things," one said gently. "But we are also warriors when necessary. Humans are not one thing. We are many things depending on what the situation requires." He put a hand on shoulder. "Today required warriors. Tomorrow may require explorers again. We adapt. It is what we do." Understood now why the galaxy feared. It was not just their physical capabilities. It was their ability to change, to become whatever was needed to survive. Such a species was impossible to predict, impossible to control. But as he looked at the celebrating humans, he also understood something else. That same adaptability could make them the greatest friends the galaxy had ever known. The question was which path they would choose. The 2 ships traveled together through empty space for 3 days. During that time, the humans worked tirelessly to repair both vessels. Ho led the engineering efforts, directing teams of humans and aliens to fix critical systems. Had never seen anyone work so hard. The humans rarely stopped to rest. When one team grew tired, another took over. They ate simple meals while working. They slept in short bursts. Their endurance was extraordinary. "You will exhaust yourselves," warned Ho during one repair session. Ho wiped sweat from his forehead and smiled. "Humans can push through exhaustion when needed. Our ancestors hunted by following prey until the animals collapsed from tiredness. We call it persistence hunting. That endurance still lives in us." "You chased animals until they could not run anymore?" asked in horror. "It was effective," Ho replied with a shrug. "Now we use that same determination for building and creating instead of hunting. Different application, same instinct." On the 3rd day, both ships were functional again. Not perfect, but capable of reaching civilized space. The crews gathered in the main hall of the endless journey for a farewell meeting. One and stood at the front, facing their combined crews. The atmosphere was different now. The fear that had divided them was mostly gone. In its place was something unexpected: friendship. "We owe you our lives," one said to the alien crew. "You found us when we were helpless. You helped restore our power. You stayed and fought beside us against the pirates. These are not small things." Shook his head. "You owe us nothing. Without your warriors, we would have been destroyed by those pirates. Your crew saved all of us." "Then we saved each other," one concluded. "That seems like a good foundation for friendship." The word hung in the air. Friendship, between apex predators and prey species, between and citizens of the Galactic Union. It should have been impossible. But looking at the two crews standing together, it seemed completely natural. Stepped forward with a small device in her hand. "We would like to give you something. A communication unit programmed with our frequencies. If you ever need help, contact us. Wherever we are, we will come." Accepted the device carefully. "You would do that, travel across the galaxy to help us." "Humans are loyal to their friends," said simply. "Once someone earns our trust, we protect them. That is who we are." Sang-hoon nodded in agreement. "We might be predators, but we choose what we hunt, and we choose to hunt threats to our friends, not our friends themselves." The alien crew exchanged looks of wonder. Everything they had believed about was being challenged. These humans were dangerous, yes, but they were also generous and protective. "What will you do now?" asked. "Will you continue exploring?" One looked at his crew thoughtfully. "That was our original mission, yes, but I think our mission has changed. We set out to explore and make contact with other species. We have done that now. You are our first contact." "We did not give you a very good welcome," admitted. "We pointed weapons at you." "You were afraid," one said without judgment. "Fear is a reasonable response to the unknown. What matters is what you did next. You lowered your weapons. You listened. You gave us a chance. Not every species would do that." Bora bounced excitedly. "Maybe we can visit you someday. I would love to see where you come from." And Mox looked horrified at the suggestion, but considered it seriously. "Perhaps someday," he said. "First, my people need to learn that humans are not monsters. That will take time and evidence." "We can help with that," Du offered. "We recorded everything that happened. The battle, the cooperation, the conversations. If you share these records, other species can see the truth about humans." It was a good idea. Records could not lie. If other species saw how humans behaved, how they fought alongside aliens instead of against them, it might change opinions across the galaxy. "I will share the records," promised. "I will tell everyone what I have witnessed. Humans are not mindless predators. They are intelligent, adaptable, and capable of great kindness." One smiled warmly. "That means more than you know. We came to space hopping to find friends. We did not expect to be feared before we even introduced ourselves." "The fear came from ignorance," admitted. "We feared what we did not understand. Now I understand better." The two captains shook hands. It was a human gesture but had learned its meaning, a symbol of agreement and respect. "When we meet again," one said, "I hope it will be under better circumstances. No pirates, no weapons pointed at each other. Just two crews sharing meals and stories." "I would like that very much," replied honestly. The crews said their individual goodbyes, and Ho exchanged engineering notes, and Ben promised to share navigation data. Even the security officers, who had been the most suspicious, parted on friendly terms. Finally, the two ships separated. The quiet shadow turned toward Union space while the endless journey continued into the unknown. Stood at the observation window and watched the human ship grow smaller in the distance. "Captain," said softly, "do you think we will see them again?" "I hope so," replied. "The galaxy is large, but friendships make it smaller." Over the following months kept his promise. He shared the records of their encounter everywhere he traveled. At first, other species reacted with skepticism and fear. Humans were. They had to be dangerous. But the evidence was clear. The recordings showed humans laughing and working alongside aliens. They showed humans risking their lives to protect strangers. They showed friendship forming where fear should have dominated. Slowly, opinions began to shift. Not everywhere and not completely. There were still species who feared humans and always would, But others became curious. If these could be friends to one crew, maybe they could be friends to others. News spread across the galaxy. A new species had emerged from a class III. They were strong and determined and incredibly dangerous. But they were also kind, loyal, and willing to protect those who earned their trust. Some called them monsters, others called them miracles. The humans themselves had a different name for what they offered the galaxy. They called it humanity. Often thought about that word, humanity. It meant the quality of being human, but to him it had come to mean something more. It meant seeing past fear. It meant offering friendship to strangers. It meant protecting the weak and standing against the cruel. If that was what it meant to be human, then perhaps the galaxy needed more humanity, not less. The communication device had given him sat on his desk, always within reach. Had never used it. He hoped he never needed to. But knowing it was there, knowing that somewhere in the vast darkness of space there were 12 humans who would come if he called, gave him a strange sense of peace. The universe was dangerous and unpredictable, but was no longer afraid of. He had learned the truth that the galaxy had forgotten. Monsters were not born. They were created by fear and misunderstanding. And heroes could come from anywhere, even from planets that tried to kill them every single day. The humans of Earth were proof of that, and would spend the rest of his life making sure the galaxy never forgot it.